that you look at the plans, get things done right. What's some of the questions you should be asking your contractor when he comes to your door? First thing you should ask him to see his license. That's very, very important. All contractors have a license. They have a wallet-sized license they keep in their wallet, and you should ask them for that. Most people that I know of, that's important because you work very hard to get your license. Next thing you should ask the contractor when he's at the door, do you carry general liability insurance? You say, why is that important? Well, what happens if something happens at your house? You know, if something goes wrong. I always make sure that all my subcontractors have insurance before they show up on the job. If they don't have insurance, they don't work. Workman's comp insurance. Under the law, we're required to have a workman's comp insurance. I carry from state fund. That's most everybody has it through them. But I make sure that my subcontractors, their policies are up to date. And about liability insurance, and Bill could bring that up to date, but you know, contractors are not required to have liability insurance. I don't think you know that. It's not under the law. You do not have to have liability insurance. So it's very important that you make sure that you ask your contractor if they have liability insurance. What about, one of the questions you should ask your contractor is, how are you going to handle if there's any liens on my property? The way I handle it on my jobs is I sit down with the homeowners. There are several forms that the contractor license board makes us fill out and show the homeowners. It is how we handle any preliminary liens or anything that's on their project. What I do is, as we get paid, as we go through the project, I present them a lien release from a subcontractor like Steve, if he's doing some roofing work. I'd pay Steve. Steve would sign the lien release, and as I get paid, I give it to the homeowner. So at the end of the project, the homeowner knows that all the lien releases are paid, all the subcontractors are paid. So that's one way you should ask. Another thing you should ask your contractor if you're going to hire him, are you going to pull the building permit? There's not much out there that you can't do anymore that you have to have. You always have to have a building permit. Some people say, well, why? You know, I don't want the building inspector in my house. There's a lot of times I just turn down a job if a customer says, I'm sorry, I don't want a building permit pulled. Because you can get a lot of trouble. I mean, the building official can show up, put a red tag on your job. Next thing you know, the contractor's board's on the phone. Okay, why didn't you pull the building permit? Okay, so, you know, they can make lots of problems. So that's a big issue on building permits. I pull building permits on 99.9% of my jobs, unless it's just a repair or something like that. And you should ask your contractor, how long do you guarantee your work? I guarantee my work for 5 years. I've done that ever since I started business 38 years ago. So that's a pretty long, the law says the contractor only has to guarantee the work for a year. And I stepped out and I went further with that. So that's how I handle my business. That's how I handle my contracts with my homeowners. I sit down with the homeowner at the beginning. We set up a schedule of how the work is going to be done, how long it's going to take. Under the law, you're supposed to tell the homeowner how long your project is going to take. You're supposed to tell them the day you're going to start and approximately when it's going to finish. That doesn't take any consideration of any change orders. A lot of jobs have change orders, and you just have to deal with that. I mean, you just extend the contract with a change order. So, anybody got any questions? That's about all I have this morning. So, any questions on any of the projects? Liz?
What types of things do you do? I know what you do, but what types of things do you do?
Anything remodeling, and that, you know, there's a lot of contractors out there that they're general contractors, but there's not a lot. Between a general contractor who does remodeling and a general contractor that does new construction, there's a big difference. Because you have to address the project different. You're going into a house, and you've got to try to figure out how to fix something. On new construction, you're just building the house, and you know, you follow the plans. It's pretty simple to actually build a house. It's more difficult to do remodeling. Yes, Bill.
Talk a little bit about NERI and how hard it is to actually get in there.
I'm a member of NERI. It's a National Association of Remodeling Industry, and they screen their contractors. you have to sign a code of ethics, and they keep you right to the toe too. If you have any problems, they hear about it, and you have to go in front of the NARI board, and a lot of times they'll just kick you out of NARI. If you're not a professional and you'll agree to the code of conduct, you're not even gonna be a member of NARI, and that's a national organization. I've been a member of that probably for about 15, 18 years, so, yes.
Do you have any other specialized licensures, or do you do all subcontract work for the,
I have a B1 license, which is a general contractor's license. I have a C8 license, which is a cement contractor's license. Bill?
Just kind of as a word for you, the most expensive jobs I go on as a handyman or where the people didn't originally use a good contractor. Because when they don't, then they're left with no recourse, and they just basically have to eat everything that he did wrong.
Right.
So anyone who's ever considering not using a contractor who'll back up his work is crazy for any house project. So using someone who's doing the stuff Russ does is worth its weight in gold for a job.
What recourse does a consumer have where you have a contractor that gets you half pregnant, half done with the job, and then they just give a sleep in you?
It's very complicated. It's, you file your complaint with the contractor's board, but the problem with the contractor's board, like everything else, they don't have any people to handle it. It might take, before somebody even handles that claim, it might take them 6, 9 months or a year before anything is gonna happen. And I get calls all the time that people want me to come in and take over a project that some other contractor. I just kind of back off on that because you're opening a big can of worms to do that.
So the recourse is to pick the right guy to begin with.
Yes, Tom?
Is it true that if you start a job without a permit and the inspector red tags your project, the permit costs 3 times as much? Like that?
Yes, it will. 3 times as much.
It can go to 4.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be 5.
There's a lot of new people here. LeTip works if you just stick with it. I've been a LeTip member since 1999. I've done probably $2.5 million worth of work through LeTip. It's been very, very successful, very helpful for my business. So if you're new here, just stick with it. It's gonna work for you. Thank you.